Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. It's got an average rating of 3.68 stars from over 33,000 ratings.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of ratings.
It is. The story follows Maelyn, a young woman who finds herself reliving the same Christmas vacation until she figures out how to make it right.
Sounds a bit like Groundhog Day.
Exactly. It seems to be a popular theme, especially around the holidays. Lots of readers love the lighthearted tone and escapist feel of the book.
Especially during the holidays, people are looking for something heartwarming and fun.
Right. Plus, the romantic element adds another layer. Maelyn's trying to win over Andrew, and that's got a lot of readers hooked.
The will they, won't they dynamic always keeps things interesting. But it's not just about the romance. Many reviewers also appreciated how the book explores family dynamics during the holidays, something we can probably all relate to.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to create those perfect memories can be a lot of pressure. And this book taps into the idea of a second chance, of fixing past mistakes. And who doesn't love a good dose of wish fulfillment?
Speaking of wish fulfillment, the idea of finding true love in the process is definitely a big draw for many readers. But of course, not everyone loved the book.
That's true. Some found the time loop a bit repetitive and predictable.
Especially if you're not a fan of the trope, it can get old fast. Some reviewers also felt the writing lacked depth and the characters weren't fully developed.
And some just weren't into the whole holiday romance thing, which is fair enough. There's one review, though, that I thought really summed up the mixed reactions. It described the book as eternally wistful, with the pulse of regret and what-ifs.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. But then the same reviewer said it fell flat. They didn't connect with the characters and found the writing convoluted. They even admitted they probably weren't the target audience.
It's interesting how self-aware some reviewers are, and it highlights the importance of knowing your target audience as a writer.
So for those who haven't read In a Holidaze yet, let's get into the plot. Every Christmas, Maelyn joins her family and their close friends at a cabin in Utah.
It's their tradition, a yearly gathering they've been doing for years.
Right. But lately, Maelyn's feeling disillusioned with the whole thing, like she's stuck in a rut.
And this year, after a particularly frustrating trip, she wishes she could make things perfect. And, well, she gets her wish, but not quite how she expected.
She gets stuck in a time loop, reliving the week leading up to Christmas. Talk about a holiday twist.
Definitely not the kind of Christmas magic she had in mind. But as she relives the same events, she starts to see things differently. Maybe this is her chance to fix things.
Including her relationship with Andrew, which brings in the romance aspect.
It's that friends to lovers trope. But made more intriguing because of the time loop element, it allows for different approaches, seeing what works and what doesn't.
So it's not just about external change, right? Maelyn's forced to confront her own flaws, to figure out what she really wants.
There's definitely a personal growth arc there, which might be why the story resonates with so many. We all want that second chance sometimes, to get things right. And tying it to the magic of Christmas adds another layer of appeal.
It's not just about her own happiness either. There's family drama involved as well.
Secrets and tensions bubbling under the surface of these seemingly perfect holiday gatherings. And as she relives the week, they start to unravel.
So Maelyn's not just trying to create a perfect Christmas for herself, but for everyone around her.
Which is interesting because it begs the question, can you truly make someone else happy? Or is that something they need to find on their own?
That's a great question. It has a whole other dimension to what might seem like a simple holiday story.
It also touches on the ethics of it all. Does Maelyn have the right to manipulate events, even if her intentions are good?
That's a good point. It seems like there's more to this holiday romance than meets the eye.
Definitely. Even familiar tropes can offer up some unexpected depths.
Before we get into specific reader reactions, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, Audible.
If you're looking for a way to experience In a Holidaze, why not try listening to it? With Audible, you can enjoy audiobooks whenever and wherever you are.
And for a limited time, you can get a 30-day free trial and 2 free audiobooks when you use the link in the description. It's a great way to discover the joy of audiobooks, especially with the holidays right around the corner.
Now back to In a Holidaze. The comparison to Groundhog Day came up a lot in the reviews. Many readers loved how the book took that classic time loop concept and gave it a fresh spin.
It's clever how the authors managed to draw on a familiar idea, but still make it feel new and exciting. The holiday setting and the romance definitely add a unique twist.
And speaking of the romance, a lot of the discussion focused on Maelyn and Andrew's relationship. Many readers found their chemistry really sweet and heartwarming.
It added an emotional depth that resonated with a lot of people. But as we mentioned before, not everyone was completely sold. Some felt the story was lacking in certain areas.
Some found the time loop repetitive, especially those who aren't big fans of the trope to begin with.
The pacing was also a point of contention for some. Some thought it was too slow, while others liked that it allowed the romance to develop naturally.
And then there were the characters themselves. Maelyn, for example, got mixed reactions. Some found her relatable and charming, while others found her a bit frustrating.
Andrew also had his share of fans and critics. Some loved his charm, while others felt he was a bit underdeveloped as a character.
It's fascinating how the same characters can evoke such different reactions from people. It really shows how subjective reading can be. You know, one reader compared In a Holidaze to The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, they both feature young women trying to figure out love and friendship, and the settings are really important in both. They almost become characters themselves.
I can see that. The beach house in The Summer I Turned Pretty and the cozy cabin in the mountains in A Holidaze both have that special atmosphere that adds to the story.
Exactly. And this reader loved both books, praising In a Holidaze for its wistful, romantic feel. But they also said it ultimately fell flat for them.
So even with similar strengths, personal preferences can lead to very different conclusions. Makes sense. Another review I saw focused on the time loop aspect, comparing it to Groundhog Day, naturally.
Yeah, a Hassett comparison.
Right. They liked how Maelyn uses her knowledge of the repeating events to try and change things, which is, pretty standard for time loop stories.
It's that playing with fate element that people find so intriguing.
But this reader also felt the book didn't go deep enough into the whole philosophical side of being stuck in time. They wanted more existential pondering, less focus on the romance.
So they were hoping for a bit more depth there.
Yeah, maybe In a Holidaze leans more towards just being a fun, escapist read, especially with the whole holiday setting. Oh, I also came across a review from someone who doesn't usually read romance novels.
Now that's interesting.
They said they only picked this one up because they'd liked other books by Christina Lauren.
So a bit of a departure for them, genre-wise.
And surprisingly, they ended up enjoying the romance between Maelyn and Andrew. They thought it was believable and heartwarming.
Ah, that's sweet. What did they like about it?
They liked that it was a slow burn. No insta-love here.
Ah, the slow burn. A classic for a reason. It lets the tension build gradually. But did they have any criticisms?
They felt some of the other characters weren't as well developed, which makes sense if the focus is on the main couple. One thing that pretty much everyone seemed to agree on, though, was how much they loved the setting. That cabin in the snowy mountains really resonated with people.
I can see why. Sounds idyllic.
Lots of reviewers commented on how vividly the authors described everything. You could practically feel the warmth of the fireplace and hear the snow falling outside. It definitely added to the whole holiday vibe.
It sounds like they really nailed the atmosphere. And speaking of the author's style, Christina Lauren seems to be a hit with many readers. They enjoy their light, breezy writing, perfect for an easy, enjoyable read.
Their witty banter and humor definitely add to the charm. But some reviewers felt the writing lacked depth, that it could have been more nuanced and complex, which, it's all subjective.
Absolutely. What one person finds witty, another might find superficial, and what one considers nuanced, another might find too heavy. It's all about individual taste. So it seems like In a Holidaze has gotten a pretty mixed bag of reactions.
From glowing reviews to some pretty harsh criticism, which, to be fair, is pretty normal for any book. It just goes to show how different people experience the same story. So the big question is, should you read In a Holidaze?
Well, based on everything we've discussed, it sounds like a good choice if you're into light, fun holiday romances with a dash of magic and humor, especially if you enjoy that classic friends to lovers trope.
And if you're not bothered by a little predictability and repetition, then yeah, it could be right up your alley. But if you're looking for something really deep and thought-provoking, maybe not so much.
There are definitely other books out there that fit that bill better.
But even if you're not sure, I'd say give it a shot. It might surprise you. And hey, it'll probably put you in the holiday spirit.
I've heard a lot of readers say that it did just that. They loved how the book captured the warmth and magic of the holidays with the cozy setting and the focus on family traditions.
Some even said they felt inspired to create their own new traditions after reading it, which is awesome.
That's the power of a good story. Now let's talk about the ending. That seems to be a point of contention for some readers.
Some loved it, some didn't. What was the general consensus?
Well, some found it satisfying and heartwarming, a nice way to wrap everything up.
A classic happy ending.
But others felt it was a bit too predictable and maybe even a little cheesy.
So, without spoiling anything, it sounds like it provides closure, but whether you like it or not depends on your personal taste.
Exactly. You know, it's interesting to see what readers wished had been different about the book. A common one was wanting more development for the secondary characters.
Makes sense. It would have been nice to get to know Maelyn's family and friends better.
Some also wished the book had gone deeper into the philosophical implications of the time loop, letting Maelyn really wrestle with those big questions.
Like, what does it all mean?
Exactly. And a few readers said they would have liked to see Christina Lauren try a more complex and nuanced writing style, pushing their boundaries a bit.
But even with those critiques, In a Holidaze is still a really popular and enjoyable read for many people. It's a lighthearted and heartwarming story, perfect for escaping into during the holiday season.
It's a fun premise that also makes you think.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Have you read In a Holidaze? Did you love it? Hate it? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe too. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
And if you want to check out In a Holidaze for yourself, remember you can always listen to it on Audible. It's perfect for when you're on the go, especially during the busy holiday season.
And right now, there's a special offer. You can get a 30-day free trial and 2 free audiobooks when you use the link in the description.
So why not give it a try? It's a great way to discover the world of audiobooks, and you can listen to In a Holidaze and another book of your choice completely free.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into In a Holidaze.
We had a blast discussing it, and we hope you enjoyed it too. Until next time, happy reading.